Hey guys, welcome back to Overtakes. I'm Kel.
And this is Misfit.
And we're here with our Week 3 review of Stage 4. So, if you like what you're hearing, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to give us a like, a subscribe, all that good stuff, because we really appreciate it. Anybody that's already doing that, we really appreciate what you've done. And if you like what you're hearing, we do Overwatch League content at least 5 days out of the week. And we try to talk about as much as we can and do a lot of good discussion about it. So check us out on Twitter and all that good stuff as well. So let's jump into it. We got London that we wanted to talk about starting off right now.
Yeah. I think we have to take London to the school we took Shanghai and Boston to with the let's not run dive into Brigida. I don't know what was going on with that. I don't know what's going on with them.
Right.
They look good at times. They're not as infuriating as Seoul, though.
Yeah, they're not to that point, but at the same time, like, how are they just not understand? How it just boggles my mind that these teams don't understand they can't run dive when there's a Brigida, especially if it's a Brigida that's worth anything. Like
Mickey playing Brigida,
exactly,
or Sinatra, or guys like that are playing at an unbelievable level. They are going to crush you.
Yep.
Even if you are Prophet. You know, and this goes back to the sandbagging thing a little bit, because they're kind of locked into that 4-hole or 3-hole pretty solidly. They got a 2 to 3 game lead. Are they doing what everyone thinks New York is doing? They're just doing it less overtly, I guess.
Right, but at the same time, I feel like they can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
They really can't, because they need to just play and get this stuff done, because honestly, I feel like they should try everything they can to get into the stage playoffs so they can
get back to where they were.
Yeah, so they can get back into that championship form.
Which at this point, they're on the outside looking in. I mean,
they're way on the outside looking in right now.
They're 3-4 games behind everybody.
Yeah, they're at this point in this stage, they're mediocre. They are 3-3.
I guess they're 2 games behind San Francisco.
But even still,
yeah, you're not going to make that up.
When you have 4 games left to play in the stage, that's not enough.
No, it's not. And they, like you said, they need to get it together.
Yeah.
And they needed to honestly, also the experience to be back on the stage and all that stuff. It was important it should have been important to them. I mean, they made all this big deal with this roster thing where they got rid of everybody and they said, we're running this. We're going to, this is our 6th. We're going to do this. They look good for a week.
Yeah.
And, that...
Now those old habits are creeping back in, and they're falling back into their old ways of playing and just not playing the way that they were when they were really at their peak in Stage 1 and most of Stage 2.
Yeah. And they're playing non-cohesively, too, now, which is... I mean, they were playing together a lot, even when they were playing, they weren't as good. They seemed to have a plan. It wasn't the right plan, like in Stage 3. Mm-hmm. But now it's like they're kind of just doing whatever. It's kind of like this week was kind of a mess.
Yeah.
I mean...
It really was.
And at this point, how can you not figure out what Dallas is going to do?
Right. They're going to pick Brigida 75% of the time.
Yeah. And they're going to run that comp.
And you can't run straight dive at that.
No.
Are there aspects of dive that you can run? Absolutely. Sure. You can still run a diva against it.
You can run a diva with a widow, but you need a Junkrat or a Pharah or something that's just going to absolutely shell them with damage that they can't respond with.
Yeah. Without doing that, you're shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it goes to the Horizon map.
Yeah.
And it is laughable that people think they're going to get enough damage out of a Sombra Tracer comp against Brigida, Diva, Orisa, a Junkrat, and a Widowmaker. Yeah. I mean, and minus, your other support stuff. But how do you think you're going to do this? It's like running a double sniper into it, too. That's a dumb thing to do. And Dallas just sucks it up because it's like, oh, you're going to run that? Fuck you.
Okay.
And like Prophet, why did he not switch off a Tracer?
Right.
I mean, he's a smart player.
Yeah.
It just...
it was really, really baffling week from London. It was like the team just continues to to just really perplex me, and I just don't understand them at times.
They have this cocky streak.
Yes.
This, we're London, we're just going to come in there and kick your ass. It's not working, guys. You got to run comps. You got to run things that counter stuff. We're just going to do what we do, and we're going to beat you. It's not going to work. And I don't know. It just drove me insane.
It's really frustrating. So let's move on to another team that was kind of frustrating this week, but I think they kind of righted the ship a little bit in their second game, and that's the Gladiators. They look real rough against the Valiant.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell if it was more the Valiant just outplayed them, and it's just one of those things. We talked about it a little bit in one of our other videos, where it's just that rivalry thing. When it's an LA team playing against an LA team, you can just throw everything out the window.
Yeah. And the match was well played. It's just, I think they didn't look as good as we thought they were going to look.
Yeah.
And like you said, you got to throw this stuff out the window. And the Valiant played well all week. I mean, they had
an incredible week. So you can't really,
but
you can't take too much away from the Gladiators. But at the same point, that was a big match, and that was a match that they should have won, and they needed to win. If they really want to be considered like a top tier team.
Yeah.
And if they can't beat the Valiant, then it's going to be a little shaky for them.
It is. And, it goes to that hardcore pressure. Yeah, they had pressure against Philadelphia later in the week, which they played really well against them.
Yeah.
But it's that playoff, big rivalry, that pressure, they don't look as good.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but there's something goes awry. I don't know if it's nerves or what. It's just, they don't look right. I mean, they righted the ship a little bit by beating Philadelphia later on in the week.
Yeah, and they falter a little bit when it comes to those high-pressure situations, and that is definitely worrisome.
Yeah.
As much as I like this team, when the pressure really gets put on them, they tend to falter just enough that they fall apart.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's not even that they fall apart, it's just they falter enough that they lose.
Yeah.
And it's just, it sucks.
Yeah, I know, it does. And, that's what they did against the Valiant. The score was not indicative of how the game was played.
No.
But they just didn't have the finish.
Right.
They didn't finish maps off. They didn't, there were points where they lost fights where they should have won.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of stuff like that, which at this point, they got to figure that out.
Right, they really do.
I mean, almost at this point, it is what it is, as far as where we're at in the season. You got 2 weeks left, 4 games. You got like a month, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to figure out where you're at. If you make it into the playoffs, we haven't even gotten to you know what I mean? We haven't gotten there yet.
They're still not, they have not locked up a playoff spot.
Yeah.
By beating Philly, they definitely put themselves in good position, better position to keep that last spot, but they really got to come out, and they got to come out swinging this next week.
Yeah, because in all honesty, they would have been up a position if they just picked up one map against Los Angeles, the Valiant.
Yeah.
That stuff matters more than ever now. I mean, especially when you're riding on that 6, 7, 5 area.
And you're basically in a dead heat in map differential with 3 different teams, and then you're in dead heat in record with 3 teams. Like, it's just that every little thing matters.
Yeah, soon to be a 4th team.
Right.
But that's besides the point. But yeah, they just got to get working on stuff that worked for them in the last stage. Mm-hmm. I know there's different metas and all that, but I don't think it's so much the gameplay, it's the game sense kind of thing.
Yeah.
They seem to be doing things good. It's just when they need to finish the job, if like the communication or something's falling apart.
Yeah.
Because they trickled and they did stuff that they don't normally do.
Right. And one other thing I somewhat worry about is their ability to have like really clutch plays. I think that really the only player on that team that's shown that ability is Fissure.
Yeah.
And if you don't have, and they really need either one of their DPS to step up and be that guy. It needs to be Surefour. It needs to be Hydration. One of those guys needs to step up and just be able to hold a point for way longer than they have any business holding it, and just make those clutch plays that you need to win.
Exactly. And I think they need to, I understand they want to play Void, but I think they need to, at this point in the season, just play Fissure and Bishu and get that back to where it should be.
Exactly.
it just needs to be done. You need to have your 6 ready to go that are going to play in the playoffs, because you're not going to be flipping guys around in the playoffs. I mean,
oh hell no,
you might.
You better not be.
Yeah, you're not smart if you do.
Right.
Or you're New York.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And even then, they've got a system of how they do that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's move on to Philly.
Now let's talk about mediocrity.
Right, man. This team.
Yeah, I know.
So
it's just
frustrating. Like, there's so many points where you feel like, oh my god, this could be the best team in the league, and then other points where you're just like, what the hell are they doing? Like, it's a two-faced team. You get excellent, just dominant performance on one side, and then they just get their teeth kicked in on the other side, and they had a really rough week.
They did. Now,
I mean, they had a rough schedule this week. I mean, they played New York to start it off, and then they played the Gladiators, and the Gladiators needed to bounce back.
Yeah.
So they really took it to them.
They were in a bad position there, and EQO being out's huge.
Yeah.
I touched on that some, but he is a different player. Like, people say, well, he has the same hero pool and this and that, Shadowburn.
But he just doesn't...
He's a different player.
He's an absolutely different player. He doesn't bring... Or Shadowburn just doesn't bring the same edge that EQO does.
Yeah.
I mean, because you know, like, it's like, oh man, if Shadowburn's playing, you know you're going to get some top-notch Pharaoh play.
Yeah.
But if he's got to play anybody else, it's not going to be at the same level that EQO is going to play it.
No.
Whereas Shadowburn, I think, is a better Pharaoh. EQO is better at all the other characters that those two overlap with.
He also is... EQO is more aggressive on Genji.
Yes.
Which, when you play Genji and the scenarios that they play him in, you need to be aggressive.
Yeah.
EQO, I mean, Shadowburn's good. He's really good. But, like, he holds blades for too long sometimes, and it's just... You don't know where he's going.
Sometimes he'll just be too passive in general. He's more defensively minded and, like, overall.
Yeah.
And whereas EQO is just, like, he's out for blood.
Yeah, and he brings a different energy to that team.
Yeah. Yeah, they play like a different team when EQO is in there.
Because I think he plays around, like, what their comp is better than EQO, or than Shadowburn. Because, I don't know, Shadowburn seems to go off on his own kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where EQO is kind of, like, more focused on the comp that they're running.
Right, and he can... I feel like, even though we don't know for sure, I feel like EQO is just better about communicating what his intentions and what he's trying to do to the rest of the team, and he's better at that than Shadowburn is.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, they're just up and down.
Really frustrating team. This is a rough week for them.
Yeah.
I'm getting more and more worried that they're not going to be able to bounce back, and this could be the week that keeps them out of the playoffs.
Yeah, it could. And the tank experimentation they're doing, I don't know what to think of that either.
Yeah, I think that's really messing with this was not the time to try and start doing that. This is the time to find the best lineup you can possibly do, and you just stick with it and grind it out. Yeah. And just build up that chemistry between all your players, because that's what it's going to come down to. If you don't have that, just that, like, sense of knowing what your team is going to do instead of them having to tell you, if you just know what they're going to do, that goes so far when all these things are just happening in a split second. Like, you can't afford to mess with that at this point in time.
You can't. I mean, I thought it was good at first, but I think the approach was good. The timing, I think, might have been.
Yeah, they should have been doing this in stage 3 and stage 2, and stage 4 should have been like, okay, we've got our people we want to roll with, and let's do it. Yeah, and I realized that Sato,
he had that suspension and all that.
Yeah, and he just came in, and, like, I realized they want to get him, but it's like, at this point, suck it up and don't bother,
or just put him in.
Or just put him in and go. And
put him in with Poco or Hotba or whatever you're going to do. Right. If he runs better with Hotba, just play him in Hotba. I mean, it doesn't stop other teams from doing it. Like, look at San Francisco. Everyone's like, oh, you're going to sit Baby Bay. Oh, you're going to sit this guy. Yeah, guess what? These guys are better. Yeah. No, you know what I mean? There's no doubting, oh, well, we're going to run him in. Right. We're going to run him out.
And that's the biggest thing that these teams need to realize is it's a professional league. It's going to be cutthroat as hell.
Yeah.
And if you're not playing up to the same level that another guy on your team is, you're going to lose your spot.
Yeah.
And that's just how professional sports, any professional sport, any sport in general, is going to be that way. Any team-oriented, even any team-oriented thing, it's going to be that way.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's just how it is. That's professional.
Yeah, and I know they want people that want to see this guy or that guy, or I think this guy's better. Or, sometimes you just got to go with what's better.
Exactly. Even if the guy might not be as skilled mechanically, if he's bringing more to the table in another way, then that's the guy that needs to play.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could say that with Dallas. You could say that Effect is when he was there, Effect was a more
he was the best player on that team, hands down.
But he was the most mechanically skilled guy that they had. But Seagull was better on the other parts.
Yes.
The game sense, the positivity, the calling shots, the communications, all that stuff. You're losing mechanical skill, but you're gaining the 4 other parts that you need to make the team work.
Right. And I really feel like that they'd just be better off right now had they just been rolling with Fraggy and Poco.
Yeah.
The guys that have gotten them to this point as it is, I feel like they'd have been better off doing that.
Yeah, maybe they just go to that from here on out after this week. They might see that.
They really should.
So let's jump on to San Francisco since we started talking about them.
Yeah.
They look like the best team in the league right now. We don't count New York when we say best team in the league.
Right. It's just implied.
Yeah, The other best team, the team number 2 down, is San Francisco, the way they're playing.
The way that they're playing right now, it is a shame that they had such a rough first couple of stages, because if they had any shot at getting in the playoffs, man, they could have really put up a good fight, and it could have been really fun to see
that would have been
how
fun
far
to
that
watch.
team would have gone.
Yeah. I mean, right now, they're looking good. They're 4-2 in the stage, which, I want to see them in the stage playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to see what they can do. And you know what? I said this a little bit too. Them and Dallas right now, they're mathematically eliminated, and they're playing to win.
Yes.
And they're playing not necessarily for pride. They're playing the games. They're learning stuff. They're doing like the absolute opposite of what I think Florida and Shanghai are doing. Things are go a little bit wrong. They're not just like, fuck it, or it's fucking here we go again.
Right.
They're just maintaining this. All right, we're learning stuff. We're playing to win, and you know what? They are winning, both of them.
Right.
They're playing it like they should be playing it.
Absolutely, they are.
And the roster, the new look shock, I guess.
Right.
I mean, if you go no team has had that much change really. Well, no, never mind. Dallas, maybe. I don't know.
Honestly, who is still starting on San Francisco?
Sleepy.
That started in the very beginning of the season.
Sleepy.
That's it.
Because you got Space, Choyobin, Architect, Sinatra, and Moth.
Yeah. Sleepy is the only guy who has been playing since the very beginning, and the only reason he's still playing is because he's been consistently really, really good on Zenyatta.
Fucking monster, man.
Right.
In fact, I said watch him, and he had a couple of fucking good matches.
And I think he's only 18. So honestly, I feel like right now San Francisco is playing for next year. They are playing for season 2, and watch out, they are going to be a force.
Yeah.
Because all of these guys are super young. I mean, I don't think anybody on their starting roster right now is over the age of 20.
Yeah, I don't even think they could legally vote half.
Right.
Well, actually, they can.
Well, they can legally vote, but none of them can legally drink, which is absurd. So they could be a really good team for the next couple of years.
Yeah, like I said, what was it last week? I think I said, what's Baby Bay the beer buyer for them?
Right.
Because he's 21. He's like fucking oldest guy on the team.
Old man.
I'm not counting Dak and a couple other guys, but still.
Because Baby Bay's at least still playing.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, if you look at it, they're just a different roster. They're playing, and they're playing really cohesively for me. Yeah. I think Krusty's the big reason why.
Yeah. Krusty has made a huge difference for this team. And then just in general, this infusion of young talent has really, really pushed them to be a way better team. And they just look top notch, and they're playing at a crazy high level.
Yeah, he must really focus on team communication and stuff. Mm-hmm. Because remember, the biggest knock on Boston when they came in is like, these guys never played with each other. All these other teams have this synergy.
Right. They've never played with each other.
And
they all speak different languages, all this other stuff. And it's just like...
They were cohesive as hell in the first...
And Boston has to be missing that right now.
Yeah.
It still baffles me that they let a guy of Krusty's caliber go. I don't understand. And look at where Boston is right now. Like, yeah, sure, they're going to make the playoffs, but they're not going to do anything in the playoffs, and because they lost probably the most important guy of their team.
Yeah. San Francisco, they look cohesive like Boston did. Mm-hmm. They're running a lot of dive though, but they're mixing up the comps better than Boston does. They know when to run it and who to run it on and all that.
When they run dive, they run it smartly. If it doesn't work, then they switch off of it. That's the key.
They adapt really well. And
their adaptability has been outstanding.
And Sinatra's hero pool is bigger than I thought.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's playing fucking great.
Everyone's like, oh, he's this tracer god, blah, 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 blah. And like, yeah, his tracer is incredible. But man, like the other heroes that dude plays.
Yeah.
It just continually, like week in, week out, he's pulling out another hero. You're like, holy shit, how is he this good at this person now?
Yeah.
Like,
Brigida, Junkrat. I mean, he is what Houston fans want Jake to be.
Yes.
He's insane on Junkrat, but his tracer is ungodly.
Right. And you're starting to understand, okay, now I see why this dude got paid the way that he did.
Yeah, because he's incredible.
Yeah.
And Architect was another fantastic pick. Where are their scouting department? Damn.
Oh my god.
Well, then, I mean, obviously Krusty got fired or whatever, quit. And it was just like, oh, yeah, him, now.
Yeah, give us that guy. Yeah, I mean, that's enough gushing about San Francisco. Yeah. So let's move on to the last team that we're probably going to gush a little bit about as well.
Yeah.
And that's Dallas. Never thought I'd say that at this point.
Dallas, man.
Hey,
another coaching miracle.
Right, another coaching miracle. You bring in a better you bring in a coach, and you get rid of... I am curious to know what had the bigger impact. Them firing Kai or Effect leaving the team.
A little of both, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little bit of both. Like, there's no way both of them had a huge impact, but I'm just wondering which one had the bigger impact.
Yeah, I know.
Like, if Effect was still there, would they be...
in this position?
Would they be in this position?
It's hard to say. I mean, it could go back to what I just said 2 minutes ago about that.
Because, honestly, I feel like if Kai was still there, they would still be running into the same issues that they were.
Yeah.
Whereas if Effect was still there with this new coach, I feel like they'd still be better, but then at the same point, they wouldn't be able to run Seagull the way that they have.
Yeah, or Taimu wouldn't be running or something. Yeah. This lineup that they got going in there, because they would. I mean, you have to have Effect in there if you have him on your team, honestly.
Right. But at the same point, does he have the hero pool that they would need at this point in time?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And do you have to, or do you try to work around that?
Because Effect is a god on Tracer, but it's like if
his Widow's okay.
His Widow's okay, but the rest of his characters are just not nearly as good. It's similar to Stryker.
Yeah.
And the same issues that Boston is having with him, where he almost exclusively plays Tracer, but his other characters are mediocre.
Yeah. They're not bad,
especially in comparison to the way that they play Tracer.
And Effect is kind of in that same boat, I think. Because, I mean, right now you have, like, these guys that had sort of, like, things going on, like, mentally, like Taimu, that are focused and, like, in the game. And it's all been since Effect left, I think.
Yeah.
And Kai.
Yeah, it's been since... And then also bringing in the coach that they did, I think is really... That's probably made the biggest impact, honestly.
Yeah.
At this point, like, and he's finding proper use of all of his team members. So I think if Effect had been there, I really think that they could have made it work.
Yeah, they probably could have.
Because he would have figured out some way to make all of these guys work together and play the character and use their strengths to their strengths. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the biggest thing is he's using his players to the best of their abilities.
Yeah.
And putting them in the best position to succeed.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to what you see from a lot of like football teams where you're just like, you got all these guys, they're just trying to shoehorn in guys into positions or into doing things that they're not comfortable doing or they're just not very good at, and they're not able to do the thing that they're really good at.
Right. Where you get a team like New England that changes their meta, so to speak, into as to what players they have.
Right.
It looks like they run the same system, but they don't. Because if you go back like 5 years ago, they were running the ball a lot, and they were throwing the double tight end sets and moving the ball down the field like that. You come to now, they got 3 wide receivers. They're all 2 feet tall, and they have one big burner guy that runs down the sideline, and they run a very, very minimalistic
a lot of
run game.
short passes
Yeah.
and the mid range, that kind of thing. And it's just like that's a completely different offense than what they were running even 2 or 3 years ago.
And the point we're trying to get at is this coach on Dallas is taking, all right, well, so I have Taimu. Why am I putting him on Winston when he's an unbelievable Widowmaker player? And she is huge in this meta right now.
Right.
I have Seagull that can play 4 or 5 different heroes that are all viable in this meta. And let's see what Mickey can do on Brigida, which obviously worked out well.
Right. Or hey, I've been seeing Mickey play Brigida and ladder and like all these other things, and he just really has a knack for her. So let's try running him with her all the time. And hey, look at how well that's working out for him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
and then that's opening it up for hey, let's put Seagull on Diva, who's just been an absolute monster on Diva. Like you look at his stats and it just blows your mind.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. He's like top 3 in the league
already.
Yeah, already.
And
he's
that's
been
not
for 2
even
stages.
just the stage. He's been that's overall.
And that was when they were playing like garbage,
right?
Too.
Even when they were playing like garbage, his rating on Diva was still absurd. I mean, his overall rating I think is like 1500. His kill death is like 3.2.
Yeah.
On Diva.
In this league.
Like, the next closest, I think, was...
Space, maybe?
No, I think it was, what's her name? Or what's his name? Note.
Note, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Note. Was like 2, and he was like 2.6 or 2.8, something like that. And it's just like, that's almost a 1 full kill per death. That's just crazy.
And that's super valuable when you're playing off tank.
Right, when you're playing off tank, the amount of time that you can stay alive is just crazy.
Yeah, and he's brought so much to this team by them, the coach saying, you know what, why isn't this guy playing?
Right, exactly.
And they brought Unko, and we kind of knocked Unko a little bit, but I think he fits this team better than he fit Los Angeles. From his play style, he had an insane week this week too. He was on like a Jonak tear, but he's brought a lot to this team in a different way than when we were talking about Custom. He brought to the Valiant. He brought a stability to one of the positions that they couldn't figure out who to play. And then you have Harry Hook stabilized in at the main healer, and it's just. They got rid of all the we're going to run this guy on that and that and that, and we're going to change and switch and change and all this. 1 week Chips is playing, 1 week, Harry Hook's playing. Then they got Custa on Mercy, and then they got Harry Hook on Zen. And he just took all the bullshit out and said, this is what we're doing.
Yes.
Basically our flex player is Seagull.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. And it's working out really, really well for them. And I'm really impressed with how Dallas has been playing lately.
I mean, it's too little, too late, so to speak.
Absolutely.
But they still could jump into the stage playoffs.
Yeah, they could absolutely make a jump to the stage playoffs. And again, I think that they're playing for stage 2 or for season 2.
Yeah.
And kind of seeing what their roster has right now, and then what they can build on of what they have, and then who they can pick up to really help out for the next season.
Yeah, and who they want to keep.
Right.
And the first guy I would keep, other than a couple of players, would be Arrow.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Lock that dude down.
Yeah. Lock him down.
Yeah.
Get yourself and then lock down Seagull.
Yeah.
And make him the face of your franchise and push for him to be the face of the league.
Yeah, because he is everything that in the league. Yeah, you want flashy plays and all that, but he's about as cerebral as they get of a player.
Mm-hmm.
And he's, pretty mellow, happy dude. Everybody knows him from stream in the gaming community.
Right.
So why not make this guy your guy? I mean, exactly. I know you want to have you want to have your Baby Bays and your Jakes and your good-looking dudes that, do flashy shit. But, I don't know. I would have Seagull as my face.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, and there'll be a point when he's done playing, he'll be a coach. For sure.
Oh, yeah. I would be shocked if he wasn't.
Because he knows so much about the game and how to run it. Mm-hmm. To me, I mean, you could see it, the difference from when they were doing all that jerky switching around. When he was in there, and when he wasn't.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. So, that's going to wrap up the recap for Stage 4, Week 3. And don't forget to hit a like, a subscribe, and catch us on social media. All the links are going to be down below. Don't forget to High Noon Pick'em. Just 2 weeks left. You could do something. You never know. Get on our High Noon Pick'em thing. There's a link down there. Also, thanks a lot for all of your views, all of the support that you guys have been giving us through that, and the likes, and all of your comments, all that good stuff. We really do appreciate all that. And I guess we'll see you guys on the next one.
Yep. Catch you guys on the next one. Later.